The little girl pointed at the man on TV and whispered, "Mom, that's Daddy." But her father died 3 years ago. And the next morning someone knocked on their door. Sarah froze, because the man standing outside looked exactly like her dead husband. Sarah Miller was a simple woman. She worked at a small grocery store in a quiet town. Life had not been easy for her. 3 years earlier, her husband Daniel died in a terrible car accident. At least, that's what everyone told her. The police said the car exploded near a bridge. The fire was too strong. They never found a full body. Only Daniel's wallet, ring, and burned watch. Sarah cried for months. Their daughter Emma was only 4 years old at the time. Now she was 7. Every night, Emma still asked about her father. And every night, Sarah tried not to cry. One rainy evening, Sarah came home tired from work. Emma was watching TV in the living room. Suddenly, Emma stood up fast. Her face turned white. "Mom," she whispered. Sarah dropped her grocery bag. Emma pointed at the television screen with shaking hands. "That's Daddy." Sarah looked at the TV. A man was being interviewed during a business event in another city. He wore a black suit, clean haircut, sharp face, and those same blue eyes. Sarah stopped breathing. "No," she whispered. It looked exactly like Daniel. The reporter called the man David Kane. A rich businessman, owner of a large tech company. Sarah quickly grabbed the remote. But the interview ended. The screen changed. Emma started crying. "Daddy is alive." Sarah's hands were shaking badly. That night, she couldn't sleep. Her mind kept replaying the face on the screen. It was impossible. Daniel was dead, right? The next morning, someone knocked on the door. 3 slow knocks. Sarah opened it carefully and almost screamed. The same man from TV stood there. Up close, he looked even more like Daniel. Same voice, same eyes, same small scar above his eyebrow. Emma ran toward him instantly. "Daddy." The man stepped back in confusion. "I think you made a mistake," he said calmly. Sarah felt dizzy. "Who are you?" she whispered. "My name is David Kane." He looked nervous. "I'm sorry. I saw your address in an old file. I think your husband and I may have known the same people." Sarah stared at him. Something felt wrong. Very wrong. David sat inside the house awkwardly. Emma refused to leave his side. Sarah made coffee with trembling hands. Then David looked at a photo frame on the shelf. His face suddenly changed. Inside the frame was a picture of Sarah and Daniel smiling together. David nearly dropped the cup. "Where did you get this photo?" Sarah's heart pounded. "That's my husband." David looked pale. He stood up fast. "I need to leave." But before he reached the door, Emma grabbed his hand. "Please don't disappear again." The man froze completely. And then, a single tear rolled down his face. 3 days later, Sarah hired a private investigator. She needed answers. The investigator discovered something shocking. David Kane did not exist before 3 years ago. No school records. No childhood photos. Nothing. It was like the man appeared from nowhere, exactly when Daniel supposedly died. Sarah felt sick. She decided to follow him. One evening, she drove behind David's black car to a large house outside the city. She waited quietly. Then she saw him enter a hidden underground room beneath the house. Sarah sneaked closer, and what she heard changed everything. A woman's voice said, "You were never supposed to go back to your old family." Sarah's blood turned cold. Another man spoke. "We gave you a new identity, a new life. Don't ruin it now." Sarah accidentally stepped on a branch. Crack. Silence. The underground door suddenly opened. David looked directly at her. A few minutes later, Sarah sat inside the hidden room. Her hands were ice cold. David looked broken. Finally, he spoke. "My real name is Daniel." Sarah burst into tears instantly. But the truth became even darker. Daniel explained everything slowly. 3 years ago, he worked as an accountant for a dangerous criminal group. At first, he didn't know they were criminals. But after discovering illegal money operations, he tried to leave. That's when they threatened his family. The police secretly offered him witness protection. The car accident was fake. Daniel had to disappear forever to keep Sarah and Emma safe. No contact. No messages. Nothing, he whispered painfully. Sarah cried harder. You let us believe you were dead. Daniel lowered his head. I had no choice. But suddenly, another voice interrupted. That's not the full story. An older man stepped from the shadows. Gray suit. Cold eyes. He smiled slightly. The criminal group was never destroyed. Sarah felt fear rush through her body. The man continued. They are still searching for Daniel. Daniel looked terrified. If they find Sarah and Emma. He couldn't finish the sentence. That night, Sarah returned home in silence. Her world felt destroyed. Her dead husband was alive. But he could never truly come back. Emma kept asking questions. When is Daddy staying with us? Sarah didn't know what to say. Then things became worse. The next evening, Sarah noticed a black SUV parked near her house. The same car stayed there for hours. Watching. Waiting. Her fear grew stronger. Then a note appeared on her doorstep. We know he contacted you. Sarah's legs nearly gave out. Daniel arrived minutes later. Panicked. We need to leave now. Within 10 minutes, they packed bags and escaped through the back road. Rain poured heavily. Emma cried in the back seat. Why are people chasing us? Nobody answered. Suddenly, headlights appeared behind them. The black SUV. Following fast, Daniel pressed the gas harder. The road became slippery. Sharp turns. Heavy rain. Sarah held Emma tightly. Then, bang! Their tire exploded. The car spun violently. Everything crashed into darkness. Sarah slowly opened her eyes. Smoke filled the air. Rain hit the broken windshield. Emma was crying softly. But Daniel was missing. Sarah screamed his name. Then she saw blood leading toward the forest. Police sirens echoed nearby. But Daniel was gone. Again. 2 months later, life became strangely quiet. Sarah and Emma moved to another town under police protection. One evening, Sarah received a package with no return address. Inside was a small silver necklace. The necklace Daniel gave her on their wedding day. And beneath it, a note. Only 4 words. I'm still protecting you. Sarah broke down crying. Emma hugged her tightly. Outside the window, a black car slowly drove away into the night. And for 1 second, Sarah saw Daniel's face behind the glass, watching them one last time. Then he disappeared forever.